2 Gold and Black Live. We used to have the best conversations while we're up. You got to sit up straight. I always get told that. All right, we did one topical thing, social media, and obviously you didn't talk to the media a lot, if at all, really, during your
No, I did a
college
couple
career.
of stories.
But at the end, you
Yeah,
certainly did.
right.
But talk about controlling the narrative, but also, that maybe you are doing a little bit this through your work, and how you would approach it if you were a potential first-round draft pick today.
Well, I don't know that you can control it.
Yeah.
But I do feel you can participate in it.
Yeah.
And some of this work that I'm doing now, I think, is a participation in some legacy form.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because there will come a time when I won't be here, and there, but I'll be like scores of other athletes and entertainers. People will be curious about who they were and what they did for various reasons. So it gives me a chance to participate. I don't think I can control it. It's too big. I think the media, especially with social media, it's just too big for us to control anything. But we can participate. Because they're going to reference something. And one of the dangers that we have now for people who played in my generation, they never saw you play.
Yeah.
They don't know anything other than what they read. So when they go to talk about you, they're going to collect on what was already printed or produced. And that could be unfortunate, if you don't have any balance in there.
Yeah. And you're doing that already through your works as well.
I mean, that's not the full intention of it. I'm doing this. I started out, I just really enjoy it when I saw what the possibilities of it, but I think that's a benefit to it.
Yeah. All right. You also did play that little sport with an orange ball called basketball at Purdue.
I did.
And you would love
What a time.
And I like the fact that this doesn't surprise me, but it was a great experience. I mean, that was formative to be a big time basketball player, play at Purdue, play in the NBA.
And I tell people that I don't separate it out because sometimes historically there's been kind of a taint on the intellectual side for basketball players and entertainers or whatever. And I said, I'm a jock. I mean, I embrace my legacy as a jock. I'm still, a jock. And I'm an artist, and I'm a businessman, an entrepreneur, a philanthropist, and all that stuff too. It's all an and for me. I'm not trying to replace that because whatever that was, I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
It's included.
Yeah. You made a lot of very close friends here. In fact, we heard from Mike Needham today. Sent me a note. Say hello to Joe Barry Carroll, Walter Jordan, which I think is now down in the Atlanta area as well.
He lives out in the suburbs.
And a dear friend of the show as well. One that you don't get to say hello to every day that we all wish we could is Eugene Parker, and talk about his legacy and his effect on your life. Eugene Parker, for those of you who don't know, an all Big Ten level basketball player at Purdue during Joe's time. He was 2 years ahead of Joe, I believe, and also became a famous agent as well, and
huge,
and one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
But a lot more than that. And I thought your friendship and your talk, you've dealt with it some in your art. I think in Black American Voices, there's a really poignant piece there on him.
Yeah.
But tell us about that and what he still means to you even after his passing.
Well, Gene's largely why I came to Purdue. He was my host when I came to visit, and we started talking back all those years ago. And continued. Even after he graduated, we were always in touch with each other. And while both of us are we're out of sports. He had relocated part-time to Atlanta. He still had a home in Fort Wayne. And we'd get together. And whenever he was in town, we'd get together. We would run. Well, loosely speaking, it wasn't run. It was
Walk run.
Right. We were just in motion at the park.
I hear you.
But in a term of about 6 months, we went from that to me saying goodbye to him at the ICU. And
in Atlanta, right?
in Atlanta, at Emory, and I mean, it's just tough. I think about him all the time, and I tell people when I read that, and sometimes he may not be even relevant to what I'm reading, to the book, a particular book, but I bring it up because it keeps him present for me.
Yeah. And he had an amazing way of being soft-spoken, which you are not necessarily soft-spoken, but you're understated. Did you learn? I know that you can't be 7 foot and be understated, but I think you actually are. Do you see that with him? I mean, what did you learn from him? What did he teach you all those years about how to mature, how to grow as a person?
I don't know. I think we were each other's safe space in a certain way because we had certain resources financially, with education. We had gotten to a certain place. We'd seen the world in a certain way, so we were, contemporaries.
Yeah.
So we were able to, and that's part of what our walks or runs in the park were about.
Yeah.
It was that time where we get out there and we dream.
Yeah.
Because you have to find a contemporary to dream with. Because if someone is not your peer,
Yeah.
so to speak, they won't understand what you're talking about. And he was wildly creative, created a business out of nothing,
Yeah.
sold it, and then bought it back and created it again, then built upon that. So he's always been impressive as an entrepreneur, a businessman, a big family man.
Yeah.
He's like a lot of impressive, I did all the low down stuff. I did all the smoking cigars and drinking bourbon. And he was right there with me, but he didn't even participate in any of that
Yeah.
stuff. So he's he was good.
He was good and,
Yeah.
and a quiet guy that just, I don't know. If you knew Gene,
He was
Gene Parker-
fierce though. Now.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
fierce competitor though.
Don't understate.
I heard
that
that
fierce.
he had a little nasty streak to him on the basketball
He
court.
could get an ego.
Yeah,
Because
but
I
you gotta
told him,
have
I told,
ego.
I told him we were walking one day, and I tell people this is so funny to me that we're walking. I said something that he took exception to, and I noticed he was upset with me, and I was like, so if I wasn't 7 feet 300 pounds right now, you'd probably take a patch out my ass, right?
Yeah.
And we walked a couple steps, and he's like, probably. So if you can imagine that happened, I mean, that's the cat he was, but we never had any cross words, never went away from each other. There was never a timeout.
Yeah.
We walked, whatever we worked through, we took it all the way down the road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another person that you've gone all the way down the road since you met him, we've met him probably in the early part of 1978, about April 1978. Lee Rose, your coach, and
The coach,
and first take me through what you recall about the lessons learned while he coached you, and then we'll talk about that relationship that you guys have fostered for all these years.
He's a process guy. I mean, you can't expect things to just show up.
Yeah.
You got to, participate in the process.
Yeah.
And with him, it was work. And I mean, even now, a lot of the preparation that I do for meetings or whatever, research, whatever, I think a lot about Coach. But he was good. I mean, I wish he had been here earlier because it's always in my imagination of what would have been if I'd spent 4 years with him instead of just the 2, because I learned a lot, and he kind of made me, because I was kind of retiring. I was thinking for some reason naively that perhaps if I didn't stand up and pound my chest that people would give me a pass. But what I realized is that the expectation was going to be there regardless, to however arrogant or not arrogant I would be. So I needed to go ahead and embrace it. And Coach came in and say, okay, look, we're going to bring the ball to you, and you need to be prepared to do something with it.
Yeah.
And so he gave me a stage to do it, and he, supported that. But he's been great, and we've moved from me being his pupil and Stu, because he's a teacher, to being friends. And then I actually work for him. I mean, I work for him. He's a client at some point. And then now we, a few years ago, agreed to publish Coach Lee Rose on Family and Basketball, which will be out shortly.
Yeah, and I wish
I'm real excited about it because
I am too. And I wish, because we had the cover, but due to technical difficulties, can't bring it up. We'll get it on our site at some point. But talk about that process, because it has been a up and down, challenging. I mean, it's just challenging because of aging and health and all those things.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Coach is struggling with some things right
Yeah.
now, but he rises to the occasion, and he's hilarious. We've spent like the last 3 years working on this memoir, because the benefit I had is that I'm a writer, and we're both from Southern. He's from Appalachia. I'm from Pine Bluff, Arkansas, but we both grew up kind of poor. We're in these complicated family dynamics, and sports was really prominent, and we're both sensitive about a lot of stuff, easily offended.
He was that way.
Yeah, easily
he is
offended.
that way. I should say. That's okay.
And but he's just like this phenomenal cat that and I've got a whole nother layer. It's like our relationship keeps building on itself.
Yeah.
A few years ago, he wanted to do a memoir.
Yeah.
And it was about the time I was doing my publishing company.
Yeah.
And I wanted to add another, just like with the Zamora collection, I wanted to add more than just my work. I wanted to add their collection of art to that. And with my publishing, I wanted to add just not my story, but other people's story as well. And he was perfect for it.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make it more than just, he scored, he won
Yeah.
the Final Four, he went to the Big Ten, whatever he did athletically. And so I go into a lot of detail with him about why he did what he did, which is sometimes fun for him, but sometimes he gets frustrated with me. He'll go like, I said, but why, coach? Because why just, sometimes he thinks he assumes I should just know it.
Yeah.
And he'll say something like, well, hell, Joe, I crossed the road because I wanted to be on the other side.
Yeah.
Kind of, what part of that don't you understand? I thought you were brighter than that. But he still talks to me like I'm a, 20-year-old junior at Purdue kind of thing. And always has the last word. It doesn't matter. Whatever happens, if I think I'm joking him, like we were there visiting him a couple of months ago, over because he lives in Charlotte.
Yeah.
And he always going to have the last word. So if I get him that evening while we're at dinner on something, because sometimes I'll take a chance and make a joke. Right before the car pulls off, he'll raise his hand and lean over and say something. And I just walk away going like, God, he got me again.
The last word.
Yeah, he did.
His lovely wife Eleanor, who I think
Yes.
if she's not watching live, she's going to watch because we've communicated a couple times this week.
Yes.
It's a long-term love affair. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
marriage.
yeah.
How much is that going to play into that story? Do you think?
It's fundamental.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how interested people are in just the basketball
Yeah,
part.
I agree
Because
with
this
that.
book reads like a novel.
Yeah.
Because they do have a little love story that they talk about.
And family and dynamics.
Yeah, she told me one day, she says, and it's true, it's all true. I mean, the dates, the times, what they felt, because he wrote it down. I talked to her, and we did the interview, and they'll talk about it. If you're around them, you know that these are two people who remain in love
Yes,
after
no
60
question.
years or whatever. But it's great to see the two of them with this. And she says to me, she says, Joe, she sends me a note, actually. She says, we really are this in love with each other.
There are times after marriage, lengthy marriage or relationships, you got to be reminded of that.
Well, one of the things that comes out of this, which is really a beautiful thing, is like he says that it was never in jeopardy. For them,
Yeah.
whatever happened, whenever it happened, they always knew that any solution to that problem never included them being separate.
Yeah.
It always meant, how are we going to work this out? How are we going to fix this? Because they're like any human being. There's family tragedy, there's issues, they're raising two boys who now have two children, who have children and their grandparents and everything. So there's always some issue. But I thought that was enlightening or it was reflective or touching that say, whatever comes along, it does not involve us not being who we are to each other. Yeah.
Yeah, and Mike and Mark, the two sons, were lovely people, but challenging from time to time. Real personalities, but that also kind of ties into your whole comments about children and that they are who they are too, and they've both gone on to have great families too.
Yeah.
All right, now the 40-year anniversary. I know it's not possible, but you did take a team to the Final Four.
We did,
and you had some really fine teammates as well: Drake Morris, Brian Walker, Arnett Hallman, Keith Edmondson, and Roosevelt. Kevin Stallings. What do you take 40 years later? I mean, that was a formative experience and something that a great way to end your career. How do you view it?
Very grateful. The older I get, the more, there are things you realize when you're in the middle of things, you aren't able to appreciate it as deeply. I mean, you're grateful, you're appreciative, but you have no idea how huge that is. Because I know they talk about the Elite Eight or some 16, and I'm going
Sweet
like,
16,
it doesn't happen until you get to Final Four. You haven't done anything. Back there was a time that there were only 16 teams in the league or 32 in the playoffs or whatever. But I'm grateful for that. It's a little challenging sometimes when you see people 40 years later because we're all adults now, and you really, this person, they kind of look the same. If you look close enough in their eyes,
They
you
do.
can see, because we all look different,
Yeah.
and we act different. We've taken on our path in life has been really different. So I don't know. I mean, I'm grateful for it. But when we were playing, I read something where you had said that they never seemed that close.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know how close players are anyway. I think that they come together for the game and the victory.
Yeah.
That's what you're really seeing when you see the camaraderie with players, is that they all have this common purpose. but it's uncommon for them to be close. Although I became close
Oh,
with
yeah.
Eugene, who wasn't on that team, but Roosevelt and I,
Yeah.
we just talked a couple
Yeah.
days ago. You know, and I see Keith,
Yeah.
and because Keith played in the NBA as well as I'll see him at the Dinosaurs convention, where
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the retired
Yeah.
players
Yeah.
convention and stuff like that. So when
And
we see
Arnett's
it-
back in the United States, right? In Chicago, I understand.
I heard that he was coming back,
Yeah.
but we've only communicated in 40 years. I think maybe once I've talked to Arnett on the phone,
Yeah.
kind of thing. So but we're adults, so
Yeah.
we've kind of all got growed up, as they say.
Yeah.
But we're cool with each other. When we see each other, everything is fine. We just don't. I don't know that very many of us have very intimate relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's a fair thing because
Yeah. It's being real. I mean,
Yeah.
I'd like to say, oh yeah, we're family, we take pictures, we go on trips together. We really don't. I mean, it's kind of like for most people who work together, you know, when they're at IBM or Apple or wherever they might work, it comes and they find this thing that they do together, and then perhaps they move on to something else. There's not a problem with that. It's just what life does. Life is a little more complicated than extending childhood relationships to some distant place 40
Yeah.
years later.
And-
I'm about to get Social Security next year, man.
I know. We have your birthday. All right, last question for you because you've been gracious with your time. All right.
I have.
You have been gracious.
Because I feel it's so much fun being back on campus
Yeah.
because they have this schedule for me for
Yeah.
those 3 or 4 days I'm here.
Tara and
It
the company
makes
tell
me
you where to
feel-
go.
It makes me feel so relevant. I was like, wow, look at there. I got a schedule, you know, because I work in kind of a cave. I work at home, I have
Yeah.
a home office and whatever. So there are days that I don't leave the place. And so when I come out and see the world and know that people actually remember who I am and stuff, I'm just so touched. I'm emotional, as they
Yeah.
say. Yeah.
All right, now Purdue almost made it to the Final Four last year.
did.
Do you watch a lot of Purdue basketball from home? And
I
did
watched
you watch that
tournament.
one?
I did. I saw that young man shooting that ball.
Carson Edwards is pretty good.
He really is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like he's doing some good work in Boston now.
Did
Yeah.
you watch? I mean,
Don't take
so-
me too deep into
okay,
this now
but
because I won't know as much
so
as you think I
close
do.
though to going to the Final Four, and you got there.
I was
Did you
pulling
feel
for
for them? I mean, in terms of just being an inch away.
I did. I was pulling for them.
Yeah.
I was hopeful that this was going to be the year, but it didn't happen. Perhaps this next year. From when we went, we were not the best. We were
Number
the,
6
the,
seed.
The team in '78.
Yeah.
That was the team that was supposed to be the world beaters.
Yeah.
That was the team that nobody thought. I mean, that everybody expected to be in the Final Four.
Yeah.
Not us. When Sports Illustrated said that we were the surprise, it was a surprise party in Indianapolis when
Yeah.
we went because we were featured in that
Yeah.
edition of Sports Illustrated. But it was a surprise party, and I think you got to go a couple of times
Yeah.
because it's so overwhelming. Even back then,
Yeah.
you know, the media,
Yeah.
they had cameras from all over the world,
Yeah.
and it's just it's a blur to me. I can't remember
Yeah.
the game. I'd have to see it. If you put that film on right now, it would probably be brand new to me.
There is a thing called YouTube.
It's
out there. You can watch
it's too
it if
much.
you want.
It's just too much for me to watch because I'll start coaching myself.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, we're not going to. It was a great memory for Purdue fans, and yes, Purdue fans hope it happens again soon. All right, Joe. Thank you.
Now,
so much
wait,
for your time.
I
We're
gotta
good.
say,
Gotta get the last word in.
tonight.
Oh yeah.
Tonight, I'm going to be at the West Lafayette Library, but it won't be me.
No.
I'm just me. I am going to be interviewing Tara Coyd on her book,
And
Real Talk on LGBTQAIP. I try to put
the
all
AIP
that
is okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
asexual, intersex, and pansexual. We try to respect all of the alphabet because these are humans behind
Yeah.
the alphabet. But anyway, I'm going to be interviewing her at 6:30 at the West Lafayette Library. I hope everybody's able to come out. Is this going to be on before then?
It's on right now.
It's on right now?
And it's
Okay.
going to be on again.
Please come out
Okay.
and support
And,
us
and,
say
and that's a
hello
good,
to us.
great venue for an intimate. I mean,
Yeah, I was
you-
there a couple of years ago.
Yeah, and
with,
it's a
with
good-
another book, but I love that, and looking forward to that. Last night was my thing. I did my own reading. It was about me, but I wanted to make sure we get this in.
Well, and I'm knock myself on the head because Tara has been so gracious of helping set this up, and I swore Tara. And
You're
if
gonna
I
get a whooping.
and I know
She's sitting
I
right
did-
over there,
and she's-
giving you the snake eye.
That's okay. I got
She
her
said it's
water-
only
I
4
got her
letters.
water
It's
and
only
then-
4 letters. Why can't you get it? Just put an accent mark on it, man.
But I would have forgotten it had you not said something, and that's
It's
inexcusable.
what I do.
I know.
It's like the country singer said, that's my job.
All right. All right, your time is over for another 6 years. I hope it's not another 6 years, because we really enjoy it. There's so much more to talk about, but we'll do that later. All right.
I don't want to overstay my welcome.
No,
It's
no,
rude. You want people looking for you, man.
I know, you got to leave them wanting more.
Yeah.
It's a fundamental thing. All right, we'll take a short break, bring in Brian Newbert, who has been at basketball practice, and we'll talk about the Boilermakers, where they are right now, and where they may go here in the next few weeks. And we'll
You
do
never
that
know
in 2
where you're
minutes.
going until you get there.
That is a true statement. We'll be back in 2 minutes on Golden Black Live.